coming up in, well, really, it's going to be about 5 weeks from now.
Yep.
But it's CCA will be holding the World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. And Denny, I know this is a special event for you.
Yeah.
And we also have Dr. Carrie Burnite here, who is going to be your guest speaker there,
Our
right?
featured speaker. We are so excited because, as you know, the Community Civic Association is always trying to bring all the options to the people on all kinds of various big problems. And elder abuse is a giant problem. But we are so lucky to have Dr. Carrie Burnite right here in our area, because she is one of the world's foremost person in this area. So I think that I won't say any more about elder abuse, except I hope you come, and we're trying to bribe you to come, because on the back of the flyer is all kinds of good food, which is being donated. And Carrie, why don't you tell them about elder abuse?
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to have you here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And I know you are a professor of geriatric medicine and gerontology at UCI, and you've been there for quite a while, right?
Yes, this is my 15th year.
Wow, that's amazing.
I feel really lucky. It's been wonderful, and starting out, we were just providing geriatric care to older adults, but early on we started to see some things come across our desk that really blew our mind about people being mistreated, and it soon became clear that this needed to be my focus, because as a society it's not okay. And I recently was asked to speak in front of a group, and it was a gerontologist's dream, because it was 100 people age 90 and over. And there were quite a few folks in their 100s.
Wow.
And I asked, what's the greatest thing about growing older and what's tough about growing older? And what they said about what was tough really stuck with me, and that is being discounted. And so our goal here is to bring people together, community members, people of all ages, to empower folks to take a stand against discounting older adults. Because I think it is ultimately this discounting that's one of the factors that's leading toward elder exploitation, elder abuse, neglect. And I think it needs to come from us as older adults saying, no more.
This isn't anything new, some of the things you talk about. And by the way, you can go to agelessalliance.org to find out more about this. As we've seen over the last several decades, people are living longer for the most part. And we've certainly had many, many different groups on here, from AgeWell and other places. And on the other side of that is the people that may care for them. It's hard for them, especially if it's family member.
Yes.
We know that.
Oh, the caregivers.
Right. And I'm talking about not the hired caregivers. I'm
Right.
talking about the family caregivers. And it's a situation. It's a balance, because maybe they don't have the funds to bring in a professional caregiver, and yet they might be in their mid-50s. They have kids. They've got their own things to do. It's a hard thing to deal with.
That's a really good point, and that's why we're partnering with caregiving organizations and families, and in order to recognize this. It's hard, it's important, and it can be one of the most rewarding, but it can't be done alone. And so the biggest risk factor of elder abuse is isolation. So when family members are taking care of an older adult, it's critical to bring in the troops of other grandkids, friends, family, professionals. And you mentioned that it isn't new. It isn't new. But
Yeah.
I think what is new right now, it's the first time in history that we are coalescing a national social justice movement. So in the same way that women used to not be able to vote, and African American people had to be in the back of the bus, I think now what is new is that we together are coming together and saying, this is happening. We get 1,000 reports of elder abuse every month. And so what's new is a raised awareness to say, we see that it's happening. The perpetrators look like me and you and Denny.
Yep.
and that we actually truly can do something about this. This is the first time Merrill Lynch, for example, is partnering to take a stand nationally. The White House is hosting an event. We have Starbucks on board. And we have school children, we have college students, we have medical students. So it's kind of a revolutionary time, and it's so great that it's happening here.
Right, and again, this is happening coming up on Sunday, June 14th. You've done this in the past, right?
Yes,
Something
we have.
similar to this.
Well, we've done a couple of Prod Fests, which
Right.
go way back, which touched on this, and then we've done a couple of things actually on elder abuse.
Yeah.
So that, but this one, I think we've got a really good team of people coming in, and this is thanks to Carrie and
Wow.
her organization. But because the people are really concerned, they are really concerned. But in what we're trying to get across is how we seniors can help. And that we can do things, and that's what Carrie and her team are going to be working on, and we'll be having lots of handouts, of what to watch for, because a lot of us don't know what the signs are, and that we're visiting our friends in the various caregiving homes around here, and we can be looking out for things, and we can be helping the ombudsman, because it means eyes. We have to have our eyes, but and so that at least we'll know who to call, and that's why the bookmarks, I think, are going to be very important.
Yeah, and these are the Ageless Alliance bookmarks, and from there, all these different numbers are on here. And you'll be handing these out,
Yeah.
obviously.
Oh, yeah.
This
Everyone
event,
will have one of
it's
these.
free to everyone?
It sure is.
Okay.
And we were amazed by the food. Atria said they would do the food, so I thought, oh gosh, it ends around 3 or 3:30, so maybe there would be cookies. But instead, they just did a really gourmet tasting with different stations, and I'm so grateful.
Very good. And I'm looking on here. Okay, that's right in front of me. 1:30 to 3, and at Clubhouse 3. The Clubhouse 3 is at the very bottom here.
Right.
That's what I was looking for. So no well, you do have an RSVP. Is that just so you know how many people?
Yes,
Okay.
because of the food. So
Okay.
it's very important that people call that RSVP, because we don't
Okay.
want to run out of food. And if you
Right.
don't call, we won't have enough food.
That's
And there's the
right.
number on the screen there, 527-6885. And that's a CCA number or your number?
No, that's a CCA's answering machine,
Okay.
call center.
So please call that number, because, again, as I said, we're going to have a lot of this one company, Atria, that's going to be providing food, which is very nice of them. So they want to make sure they have enough, right?
Yes, and if you don't call,
Yeah.
And
You
it's,
know?
yes, and it's really targeted for all ages, because elder abuse is not an elder issue, it's an all of us issue of
Right.
people of all ages. So we're also going into the schools, and we had a horrible, I said to kids, what happens when you get older, to a group of 4th graders? And I thought that they might say, oh, your hair gets gray or you get wrinkles. And a little child looked at me and said, you get ugly.
Oh.
And I said, oh gosh, no. So I said to another child, no, what were you gonna say? And the little girl said, I was gonna say the same thing. And it's because we're being brainwashed by a multi-billion-dollar anti-aging industry that it's bad to grow older. So this movement needs to start young. By
Right.
saying, no, in fact, it's gorgeous to get older. We're so blessed to have, to be living this long.
tell them
Okay.
about Harry and is talking to the kids.
And so I gave that talk, and it was really not very effective. And so instead, I brought my friend in who's 87, and he talked about his service. He was there at Pearl Harbor when he was a boy, and he talked about being a paratrooper and a Green Beret. It was the greatest anti-ageism anecdote to have
Yeah.
him come and serve. And he is someone who had been victimized by financial exploitation. And so the goal of Ageless Alliance is that everybody serves, so that he was helped, but also now he's serving to,
Right.
to
And I've heard of
help
groups
others.
like that. There was one recently I think it was done here, where they had brought in several veterans from different wars, and they talked to, I think it was high school kids on a
wow.
one-on-one basis.
That sounds
Yeah.
great.
So yeah, and you can see it's it's a great thing that Agents Alliance is doing, and a good event coming up.
Yep, and so we hope that everyone comes and that they call.
All right, very good.
Okay.
Thank
Nice
you.
to see you, Carrie,
Yeah, I
again, and
appreciate
Denny,
that.
nice to see
It's
you as
good-
well.
Good seeing you.
All right,
It's
and
always
remember,
fun.
June 14th, call that number because you want to have some of that food, right?
That's
Okay.
right.
All right, take
It's called
care.
a bribe.
Yes, we'll be right back. Thank you.
Thank you so much.